This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mathias Rieske, the emergency manager for White Pine County, is with us. This is National Preparedness Month, and one of the things that you need to be prepared for is what happens when, as we like to say, and we say it correctly, stuff hits the fan. That we don't really say stuff, but you will not have access to a lot of emergency services, and one of which is health care. First aid classes, which are going to be held the last week of the month. Good morning, Matthew.
Matthias.
Why not? I get the last name right and I screw up the first name.
Story of my life.
Well, as we were talking about before, when it gets right down to it, the hospital may be overwhelmed or not even functioning, and we need to be prepared to take care of one another.
That's true. And the other thing is, just because of the vast distances that our county and our communities are spread out, there's a delay often in how fast the ambulance can get to us.
Oh, yeah. One of the things we say is when seconds count, emergency services are just minutes away. And in many cases, in matters of health and first aid, seconds count.
They do. And that's why I am so glad that I get to partner with the White Pine County Fire Protection District in sharing that we are hosting these free community first aid classes in 4 of our communities here in the county on the week of the 23rd through the 26th, because you might have a first aid kit, but can you use it right? So let's make sure we get as many people as we can to not only have the tools, but the knowledge how to use them, so we can give our family, our friends, our neighbors those extra seconds it takes for us to get the professional help that we need.
Being ready in times of emergency is something that, and we have talked about it a long time. Many of the things that we do, and people who listen to our Classic Radio Theater podcast know this well. Some of the things that we talk about there deal with emergency preparedness in the tone of nuclear disaster. Mm-hmm. And that is because that's the tone of many of these shows from the 50s and 60s, 40s and 50s. And but I say, you need to have emergency food, you need to have water, you need to know first aid, you need to deal with all this stuff, battery-operated radio, all the stuff that we've discussed. And people go, well, there's no bus. It doesn't matter. What happens if we have a major wildfire? What happens if you're coming home from Melco, say, and you're there and you watch a car flip over in front of you? And don't think that can't happen, because we just had a report of that in the police blotter I just read. It happens, and let's say it happens at Logos Junction. Mm-hmm. If it happens up at Logos, the folks from McGill, God love them, they're good people, but it's going to take them almost a half hour to get there.
Absolutely.
Even if they're all full, even if they're full out. So, it never hurts to be prepared to be a good Samaritan.
Exactly. And, I would love if everybody had a year's supply of food. I don't know how Ridley's might feel about that, but... you got to rotate the food. That's the big thing.
But, you got to have the food, you got to have the water. We don't say a year's worth, but, the thing that is primarily recommended is you always have a 2-week food supply.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got a 2-week food supply and you rotate it properly, you're not going to be in trouble.
You'll be able to handle 99% of the problems that will pop up.
Exactly. And you will be better prepared than at least 2/3 of the people in the best prepared communities.
Mm-hmm. And if you've got more, now you've got what you can... It'll help you fulfill your Christian duty to serve your neighbor.
Yes. Yes. That is one of the things that, if you are prepared and you are ready, you will get through it better than having to worry about how am I going to make it for the next, we've been out here. People think, oh, well, we're okay. Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that we're in the middle of nowhere. And the first concentrations of aid in case of any kind of emergency are going to be in Elko, it's going to be in Vegas, it's going to be in Reno. It's not going to be White Pine County. We're going to have to fend for ourselves.
And even if it is to White Pine County, again, from the government point of view, how do we serve the most people the fastest? So it would be, okay, let's get Ely situated. All right, now we can start to reach out to the other communities. And it's not that we don't care about the other communities, but it's how do we serve the most people the fastest? And that's why I'm encouraging everybody, again, first aid kits and classes, food storage, water storage.
These are things that we need to do. Our friends in Lund, Tuesday at
6 p.m.
Yeah, I'm trying to... No, that's in 2 weeks.
Yes.
This is in 2 weeks, week of the 23rd through the 26th. Tuesday, the 23rd in Lund at 6 in the evening. Ely, 6:30 in the evening on Wednesday, the 24th. At the big fire station, as we used to call it, the Big Red Barn, out where your office is.
Yes.
In McGill, at the McGill Fire Station on Thursday, the 25th, that's also at 6:30. And out in Ruth, at the Community Center, that'll be Friday, the 26th, at 6:30. And we'll be talking about this over the next 10 days or so that you will know to be prepared, because this is something that we need to do and we need to be prepared for as a community, because quite frankly, if we're not ready, if we don't do it and we're not ready, we may be okay, everything may be okay, but we don't know that it's going to be okay unless we're prepared.
Mm-hmm. Plus, being prepared helps you prevent panic. Instead of thinking, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? You're going to fall back and think, okay, my son stepped on some broken glass. Let me get the first aid kit. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's check and make sure that there's no glass still in their foot. Okay, we stopped the bleeding. Let's put some Neosporin and a bandage on it, and we're going to be okay. And I don't have to panic and run into town to the ER and end up with that kind of bill.
No.
If you need to go to the ER, please go to the ER. But by having knowledge and training and supplies, it lessens the amount of help we need to look for from other places.
And if we, again, that is the purpose of this month. Be prepared. If you are not prepared, you are going to be in a world of hurt. And as I think you said, the most important thing is it reduces the amount of panic that we have to face in a time of crisis.
Exactly.
All righty. These events are coming up the 23rd through the 26th. Lund on Tuesday the 23rd. Ely the 24th. McGill the 25th. And Ruth the 26th. Call Court Hall for more information at 293-0099. he will have you all the information you need on that as well. Matthias Rieske, I finally get the name right at the end of the whole thing, the emergency manager for White Pine County, who will not be here next Thursday, but he will be with us the following Thursday.
Yes.
And we will talk more about emergency preparedness, because this is something that will affect you more than virtually anything else. Thanks for stopping by. We'll do this again.
Thanks for having me.